now to talk about our exciting plans for the future as we enter JCA's 51st year. Please help me welcome our CEO, Shane Block.
Wow, Gerard is tall. Okay. I'm not. I'll tell you, I've been excited about this evening for months. Those of you on staff have heard me talking a little bit about this and about just how excited I've been. Ask any of them in this room. This has been an evening I've been looking forward to. So far, you've heard about JCA's 5 decades of innovation and services for older adults and their families from JCA President Lana Bornstein-Levy. You've listened to Gerard Etienne telling you about the life-changing programs and services that build upon that legacy. Now, it's my privilege and my source of my excitement to share with you some of our emerging ideas, preliminary plans for the next 5 years for services in alignment with our strategic plan. These are things that are vitally needed by our community members to thrive. In his 2008 book, Jewish Visions for Aging, Rabbi Dale Friedman proposes what he terms a new paradigm for meeting the needs of elders. He writes, "The Jewish community has a long heritage of honoring elders. For hundreds of years, we have developed communal responses that embody the values of kavod, honor, and mora, awe. Our homes for the aging, family service agencies, community centers, and synagogues have provided for elders' basic needs in an atmosphere of respect and dignity." He continues, "The new realities of aging demand even more of us. Care and service are essential, particularly for those who are poor or ill, frail or dependent. But even for these especially needy individuals, these approaches only ensure that elders survive." For Rabbi Friedman, helping older adults survive is important. It should be important to all of us. But clearly, it's not enough. He says our task now is to help elders thrive. We could not agree more. JCA has always provided essential care and services for vulnerable older adults, but also kept in the forefront the critical idea that supporting all older adults in helping them to thrive is our overarching mission. Examples of JCA's Thrive approach abound. Yes, Kensington clubs provide evidence-based activities designed to support the brain function of participants with early-stage dementia. But those same activities, often based in art, music, and movement, also intentionally promote joy, pride, and social connection between the participants, helping them to thrive. Travel training helps older adults navigate transportation systems, affording them greater confidence and independence. Inner Ages trains volunteers to serve as mentors to NCPS students, enriching the lives of both the volunteers and the students. Career Gateway and CSEP, the Senior Community Service Employment Program, help older adults to be more financially secure and independent. Each of these programs empowers older adults to thrive. And empowering older adults and their families is at the root of everything that JCA does. We look at everyone as having strengths to build upon rather than weaknesses to fix. We don't do for others what they can do for themselves. That robs people of pride in their own success and their own autonomy. JCA shares knowledge. We provide guidance, and we provide opportunity and support. To thrive, older adults need appropriate and affordable housing, dependable transportation to the places they need to go, meaningful work and civic engagement, information on resources, services, and opportunities available to them, health and social services, and a healthy environment. These needs are sometimes called social determinants of health because they strongly influence a person's health outcomes. and they are absolutely essential for an older adult to thrive. And let's not forget about family caregivers. They need training in how to care for their loved one, emotional support for themselves, and respite from the demands of caregiving. JCA already offers a variety of services that help in many of these areas. But we can do more, and we should do more. The following ideas are on the drawing board. Many are not yet fully formed and have not been vetted by staff or the board of directors. So don't blame them. I share them with you now to give you a sense of the emerging vision we share for more holistically meeting the needs of all older adults and their families. And to ask you to consider helping us evaluate the most promising ideas to implement over the next 5 years. Please don't hold us to implementing any of these too quickly. It will take time and resources. Slide 26. Always available answers for older adults. I'm going to talk about information availability for a little bit. The Senior Helpline, JCA Senior Helpline, is a wonderful resource for information referrals. Working with our database of more than 3,000 resources, Dana Hirsch and trained volunteers help hundreds of callers every year with a variety of issues, from transportation options to older adult communities that are available to JCA services. Unfortunately, we're limited in the number of calls we can answer live, and it may take a day or two to return a message from a caller. What if we could provide answers to some questions anytime those answers are needed? That's the impetus for considering adding an artificial intelligence chat to our website. That chat function would provide guidance in the types of questions it could possibly answer for people, and the answers would be pulled from JCA's existing resource database. We hope to test this chatbot to answer simple questions at all hours, and 7 days a week, 365, later this year. So, this is just a screenshot of a demonstration. That's Ruth, that little avatar up there, which, by the way, Ruth was the most common Jewish woman's name in the 1940s to 50s. So I posed the question, what are some continuing care communities in Montgomery County, Maryland? Simple question. And it gave this amazing answer. Well, amazing start to the answer. Dana would do much better. Absolutely. Montgomery County, Maryland has a variety of continuing care communities to offer. Here are a few notable ones, and it starts to list them. Things like this we can make available. They're simple answers. They're things that people could possibly Google, but we can go into more depth by using ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence. Senior housing search. So, personal story for just a moment. Some of you heard me talk about my parents. I'm going to do it again for just a minute, so please bear with me. Last year, I began exploring options for my parents to live in this area. They're in their mid-80s. My father has mid to late stage dementia, and my mother was struggling to care for him and herself in their 2-story townhome outside of Richmond, Virginia. My father had fallen several times on the stairs, and they were becoming more and more socially isolated during the pandemic. My parents owned a grocery store. Some of you heard me tell that story before, in a little town in upstate New York. And they had very limited assets and income, and finding a place that they could afford the supports they needed was daunting around here. It really was. Now, the DC region has a huge variety of options for older adults. There's a great deal of marketing of senior housing options in the Beacon, Senior Resource Guide, and other places online. And the advertising and marketing materials are valuable, particularly when the focus of a family looking for a great place for their older family members is on services, amenities, and community. But here's the issue. There's no consumer-friendly way to compare options on price, basic services, and amenities. And I found that out very quickly in looking for my parents. I had to contact the marketing folks at various communities and find out my parents couldn't afford them. But just the end of that story is my parents are now in Florida. I hate that, but they found a good community at half the price of anything I could find here. But what if there were a resource that showed in real time what senior housing was available in a specific geography within a specified price range with a list of services and amenities that you or your loved one needs? We're exploring the creation of such a service in the DC region. This is an example only. It's taken from an affordable housing website in Washington State. Don't get too worried about all the small text. But basically what it does is it lets you search for available housing then, right now, or in the near future that meets your requirements. If we could do that here, it would be a game changer for families living in this region, and particularly for lower income families, where you don't have access to marketing and materials, and people aren't providing that information easily in a comparable way. I'm going to run through a few more ideas. The next one is actually coming to fruition. JCA is going to begin this fall offering monthly educational webinars. There'll be webinars rather than in person because we can reach more people more easily. It's difficult to keep up with the latest developments affecting older adults and their families, and that's why JCA is doing this. The webinars will focus on topics of general interest to older adults in the DC region. You should look for an announcement of a special guest to kick off our webinar series in the coming weeks. And I promise, this will be a special guest. It will be an important webinar, and you won't want to miss it. I want to thank Howard Blackman for his work in making this possible. Social service support for older adult tenants. While JCA does not provide housing, we play a significant role in supporting aging in place for homeowners and renters. As the number of older adults increases in this region, building and managing more housing for older adults becomes more pressing. JCA is considering partnering with nonprofit developers of housing for seniors to provide social service supports under contract to help those older adults solve problems, apply for benefits, and have more stable tenancies. This is a win-win for housing developers and for JCA, and for the tenants who live in those properties. The myriad of issues that come up, particularly among older adults, is well known to most of us, particularly those of us who have older family members. Having someone on site who can actually provide support is absolutely essential. And doing it in partnership with nonprofits is the way to do it. Finally, entrepreneurship training and mentorship program. JCA is a leader already in offering employment training, retooling, and placement programs for older adults. Our Senior Community Service Employment Program, Career Gateway, and 50+ Employment Expos are models for empowering older adults to attain new career opportunities. Building on JCA's employment program experience and expertise in training and engaging volunteers in meaningful and impactful volunteer service, we will be exploring launching an entrepreneurial training and mentorship program. The program would leverage our existing partnerships with Montgomery College and WorkSource Montgomery to offer another pathway to financial security for older adults who want to plan and launch a successful business. Cool stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Just bear with me a couple more minutes. Okay. Family caregiving planning and support. This is really important. Family caregivers often struggle with caring for their loved one while caring for themselves. JCA is currently exploring several evidence-based models for care planning, caregiver practical training, and emotional support. We are fortunate that the federal government has just announced caregiver support. So it's a program that JCA may be able to take advantage of in partnership with other organizations. Mr. Howard Gleckman in the back is one expert on this, and there are others around who will be calling upon to help us navigate this. This is exciting because we can start really offering some supports for people who are taking care of their families. And finally, mobile access to JCA services. Not all older adults know about JCA. They should, but they don't. Or are they comfortable making that phone call to ask for services? JCA will consider outfitting a vehicle or temporarily using a JCA bus to bring mobile enrollment and services to communities throughout the region. Imagine a JCA bus with staff at community gatherings, continuing care communities, senior apartments, and other places where older adults gather. We can actually do intake and enrollment in JCA services where people live and talk to them about their needs and promote all the things that JCA does without them having to come to our facility or have to visit our website. These are just some of the ideas we're exploring to increase JCA's impact in empowering older adults to thrive. In addition to these innovative ideas, we are talking with Jose's JCC in Northern Virginia about bringing McKenzie clubs to Fairfax County. Expanding JCA's geographic footprint by bringing our existing model programs to more communities remains a top priority. To continue growing JCA's programs and impact, we need your help. In the coming weeks, I will be reaching out to everyone who attended tonight's meeting to ask for your thoughts and to ask if you will join in offering your time and talents to make the best of these ideas a reality within the next 5 years. Whether you serve in a focus group, on a steering committee, offer your thoughts in a call to me from time to time or other staff, or make a donation to our innovation fund, more on that in a minute. You'll make a difference. Please join us in creating the future for older adult services in the DC region. JCA's services and innovative ideas also require financial resources. This fall, JCA will announce a bold 5-year fundraising campaign. While we're not ready to announce the campaign goals just yet, I can share the main campaign components may include a capital fund for JCA's facilities. Mr. Court, thank you for nodding on that. An operating fund to support JCA's programs and operations. An innovation fund to provide startup capital for new programs and services, and a fund for JCA's future to further grow JCA's endowment. One of the most important components of the operating fund portion of the campaign will be establishing funding to increase access to JCA services for older adults with limited income or assets. Developing the best services possible is of no use to older adults who cannot afford to pay the fee to participate, or if JCA cannot financially sustain providing the service. The Community Action Agency for Montgomery County just published their analysis of the 2020 U.S. Census in Montgomery County. The portion on poverty for older adults in Montgomery County really stuck out. And I just want to share this with you. Fully 50% of older adults who live in apartments are tenants, are a housing burden. That means they're paying more than 30% of their income for their housing. About 25% of those who own homes are doing the same. We do have an issue with low income, with people who have low incomes in the county being able to afford access to services. And it behooves us to make it possible for anyone, for no one to ever be turned away from JCA who needs our help. As you leave this evening, you'll see a sign with a QR code that will take you to the JCA donation page. I hope that you've heard leaves you excited about JCA's work and that you want to be involved. Again, I will be contacting you in the coming weeks to hear your thoughts and explain and to talk about how you might help. I want to thank you for attending this evening and for all you have done and will do to support JCA in our community. Whether you are a volunteer, a board member, part of our amazing professional staff. I mean, truly amazing. I want to just salute the staff. We value you and the contributions you make to bettering the lives of older adults and their families. As JCA celebrates its 50th year, it has just a touch of gray, and it is thriving. As you leave, please pick up a gift bag. There's a sweet treat inside, I promise you. Again, thank you for joining us this evening, and I bid you good night.